like you lost another one.
Good evening, and welcome to Taz and Chris. Do we have a doozy for y'all?
Doesn't even more.
Yes, we're gonna get into tomorrow is the anniversary of the January 6th Insurrection. We're going to get all the way into that, but there's a little something.
I'm sure why you're
We
so
need to
buzzed.
talk about first because and I'm glad I get to talk about this with our resident Ginger. Hey, how you doing? Hey, Ginger B. I can't even explain this. So let me just run this series of clips. And y'all will understand. We'll talk about it on the flip side. But it's gonna be a couple. So y'all get the fullness of what's going on. Let's just jump right into
with me. What is up with recasting redhead characters with black actors?
Say you don't understand how genetics work and go. Say you don't understand how genetics work and go. Just say genetics and recessive genes giving me these hands on a regular basis, and I swear they're the same thing as race, and go. Say I think being a redhead is only synonymous with white people, and go. Say I don't think that black people can have genetically natural red hair, and go. Just say I failed biology and I need to figure out a way to be racist, so let me hide it under this genetic ideology, and go. Black people can have naturally red hair that grows out of their scalp. Just say you're racist and go.
As a ginger, it really does matter. I grew up...
What are you talking about? Not seeing something, I don't know. But this right here is a literal redhead. Plus, Matt Murdock may not be able to tell, but that's red hair. Oh, was that Pepper Potts? Red hair. Also, red hair is not something that's exclusive to white people. There are black people, Hispanic people that are born with natural red hair. For example, Canelo, who's a whole ass Mexican, has red hair. Aaron Kellerman, who was in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, red hair. Black woman. See, it seems like you're not mad about the hair. It seems like you're mad about them being black. I'm not trying to say nothing, man. It's okay if you like your characters historically white. To me, I like to think that if the race isn't central to the character, then of course it can literally be anyone, as long as they get the red hair right. I also wanted to let you know that MJ, she's not MJ. She's Michelle Jones.
Redhead actors are literally losing roles for major characters.
Guy, come on, guy. We all know that's not the reason. You made a whole video with like 8 different black actors that you were specifically mad got ginger roles. I have some real mind-blowing information for you. Kirsten Dunst, who plays MJ in the Raimi trilogy, she's not even a redhead. Someone alert the authorities. Scarlett Johansson, not a redhead. Elizabeth Olsen, not a redhead. Neither Charlie Cox nor his character Matt Murdock, who has red hair in the comics, have red hair in live action. But it's really interesting you didn't bring any of them up. It's almost like there's a common theme between the actors you chose, and I just can't put my finger on it.
Be Bart Allen, who's also a redhead. And that's when they cast a black actor.
I don't buy that. I don't buy that at all. If you were such a huge fan of The Flash, and this is not me being gatekeepy, this is me just exposing your bullshit, you would know that this person, Wally West, and this person, Wallace West, are 2 different people. Like, seriously, man. Wallace West debuted to replace Wally West in the New 52 continuity. There was a bunch of timey-wimey stuff between him and the other Flashes that took place 40-something years in the future. He was retconned later on to be Wally's cousin. The reason they're both named Wallace West is to honor their great-grandfather, Wallace West I. When Wally West emerges from the Speed Force after being trapped there, these two characters meet each other. They are different people, but you knew that. This particular version of the Flash has been around since 2014. That is 7 going on 8 years, man. Almost a decade. In your video, you said this thing about red hair and gingers and stuff has been really important to you for 20 years. So I'm going to go with that being your age. That puts you at about 12 when this character debuted. I could just as easily point out that the main Flash during the time that you would have been learning to read and reading comic books would have been Barry Allen and not Wally West. Yes, all of the cartoons that you would have seen from the late 90s and early 2000s would have all been Wally West, as he was the main Flash in continuity. However, everything that would have been prominent during the time that you're speaking of coming into your own and having this ginger identity or this redhead identity, it would have been Barry Allen. And I'm saying that because as of Flash's rebirth arc that Jeff Johns wrote in 2009, that's when Barry became the main continuity Flash and has been since then. That's why Barry Allen is the focus of the CW show and not Wally West. It's the same reason.
Me. What is up with recasting redhead characters with black actors?
I know you're full of shit because you thought this comment was cute and you decided it needed a little like. Weird motherfucker. But, not only did you say mermaids that quite literally are not real, and also neglected the fact that not every redhead is a white person, you also neglected the fact that there are notorious people in Hollywood who are not real redheads, but we all think they are. Most notably, Emma Stone. Are you gonna say she's doing some form of red hair face or some shit? Because she literally dyed her hair because she was getting typecasted as a mean girl and a cheerleader because she was blonde. Oh, and let's not forget Sophie Turner, who played Jean Grey, natural blonde, and this is not her natural hair color either. Redhead is not a race. It's not a marginalization. This isn't the fucking 15th century, y'all. Fucking weirdos.
Ariel being replaced by a black actress. Now this one literally makes no scientific sense.
Are we seriously doing this again? I told y'all it'd be every 3 to 5 business days. I already made a video on this months ago responding to the comment you see here. I'm just gonna go ahead and play it for y'all. So if you click on this comment, you'll find the TikTok that I am most proud of. But this person commented and wanted to say that it didn't make sense for Ariel to be black because she lives at the bottom of the ocean, therefore she gets no sun, so she wouldn't be melanated. Oh, so we want to talk about science. Well, last time I checked scientifically, fish can't talk. Neither can seagulls. King Triton seems like a rift on Poseidon, and I don't think Greek literature has ever been scientifically proven. As much as I love Ursula, I don't know if sea witches exist, scientifically. And yes, I know The Little Mermaid was a European tale, and it is based in the country of Denmark. Here's a statue that they have there. But Disney set themselves up. Y'all gave us a talking Jamaican crab, doing reggae numbers in a blue lagoon, with flamingos. Flamingos don't appear in Northern Europe. You expect me to believe that Under the Sea took place right off the land of colonizers? No ma'am. No ma'am. Don't use science to mask your anti-blackness when it comes to casting fantasy characters. It's never gonna work.
What is up with recasting redhead characters with black actors?
Your argument is bad, and you should feel bad. As the wonderful, fantastic Frankie already pointed out, being ginger is not exclusive to white people. Surprise! But also the fact that you are super fixated on all the black people playing these roles is really concerning. Because if you were really after better representation for gingers, for some arbitrary reason, maybe you would have mentioned Yvonne Craig, the first Batgirl, Barbara Gordon. Because, not a ginger. Not even a little bit. You're mad that Zendaya is playing Michelle Jones, but you didn't care that Alicia Silverstone played Barbara Wilson, Batgirl? Fully blonde. You're not mad at this atrocity of a dye job? Because, also not a ginger. At least you have Sophie Turner as Phoenix, right? Real ginger representation. Oh, foiled again! But she's not black, so I guess we're cool with it. For sure she's gotta be a real ginger, right? Look at that hair. God damn it. You know what? I'm starting to see a pattern here. I guess we're not going to complain about your precious Jimmy Olsen when he's brunette in Snyder's Batman? Or in Smallville. Charlie Cox plays a brunette Matt Murdock. Perfectly, by the way. But he wasn't the first to do it. I wonder why none of these made your list. I'm shocked. How about Archie from Archie Comics? Like, nobody but a redhead could play him, right? Good thing they got... Fuck. Black Widow. Black Widow. I mean, is there a more iconic redhead? They must have. That is looking like a wig. Quelle surprise! Where was the outrage campaign for this one? Wait a minute. No. This goes deeper than I thought. I'm starting to think... Fuck. When is it gonna end? When is it gonna end? There is no way that they got someone who isn't a natural ginger to play Daphne. Motherfucker. But hey, at least she's not black, right? And look, dude, I'm no scientist, but when you're trying to say that a mythical creature couldn't possibly be black for scientific reasons, that just sounds racist. I 100% think that we need to move away from the oppressive, homogenous European beauty standards that have caused so many people to suffer and are prevalent in mainstream media. But here's the thing, we can do that. We can advocate for the inclusion of all different kinds of people who come from all different kinds of backgrounds and all different kinds of appearances without being racist.
And before we start the conversation, because I know that there are some people that are new to this channel, I know that you are our resident ginger, but if you don't mind, would you like to let them know your genetic makeup?
Yes. My red hair is on my father's side, which does come from Ireland. Mother's side from Spain. Now, both of my parents are brunettes. So
somebody along the line, way back when, has some red hair, because that's a recessive gene.
Right.
I have a cousin that has beautiful red hair, and she also happens to play the steel drum impeccably.
Yeah.
So just imagine a ginger jamming out on the steel drum. There is nothing. Every time she plays, I hear Sebastian Under the Sea. And she actually played Under the Sea once on the steel drums. It was everything. But as our resident ginger, do you feel
this is
misrepresented or disrespected?
This is way out of left field, because I'm not going to say all, but I know a lot of other gingers that don't have this point of views of diversity or things against them, or we are like cut from a different slice of pie in a way. I've never heard something so ridiculous as what we listen to. Just because it's just nonsense, foolishness. Gingers are gingers. Anybody could have ginger.
And it's funny because over the years, I've heard white presenting gingers, especially those that live in Ireland, and Irish American gingers tell me, and I called several of them to make sure it was okay that I quote them and say what I'm about to say. And I know they mean no disrespect, and I get what they're saying when I say this, so y'all don't get in your feelings. They're treated as if they're the black people amongst white people. That for some reason people have a hatred, non-melanated people have a hatred for gingers, and I've never understood that. Because
there's always been jokes, and
like, you got naturally red hair, like,
yeah, I know, like oh, that's odd, or it. I think a lot of that, and I know growing up, people used to try to poke fun, and I know other redheads that people would poke fun at. A lot of it comes because we're always very fair-skinned because of our pigmentation, because of, we are more sensitive to the sun. We have a stronger pain threshold. We have freckles, a lot of us, some have a lot. So it's just, we're always kind of like cut from a different slice of that white pie. And so, yeah, we're kind of like, you know, we're very much a minority of that because we're not blondes, we're not brunettes, we're not, you know, brown or you know, we have red. And nowadays you look at people that buy or have somebody give them red hair. We naturally get it, but we also have very fair skin. We can't, if we're out in the sunlight very long, we're going to burn.
Yeah, and it's and my thing is,
and people are like, well, you don't tan. We can't tan, people. We burn. We might get a
and here's the thing. I align with gingers, and I have a certain affinity because just like black women, gingers, their features are looked at as a trend.
Right.
Because think about it. People will buy the features of a black woman as if it's a trend. Like, to the point where people don't even recognize what's naturally a black woman feature. They will argue me to the ground about my lips, my nose, my curves. And they're like, oh, that's not a black one. Yes, it is. Because y'all used to tease me to the ground and try to bully me into non-existence in school. But now that it's trendy, now you cool with me. Now everybody wants to be a redhead. And for that brief period that I was a redhead, and people were like, why did you change your hair color so quickly? Because people started sending me really disgusting comments that I was rapidly deleting on Instagram and sending me DMs on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, acting as if I was making a mockery of redheads. No, you know me. You know me for years. I changed my hair color according to my mood. I may wake up tomorrow and be like, you know what? I wonder what I would look like with purple hair. And I will dye my hair purple. It has nothing to do with anyone else. But the fact that for the first time, I did red hair and people thought that I was creating a joke bothered me.
Because of that one color, whereas you wore many other colors, but because somehow red tipped them off.
And my go-to color is silver, correct?
Yeah, and turquoise.
I've done silver more often than any other color. Nobody gets... But I did red for not even a week. Was it even a week?
Not long.
And people thought that I was making fun of...
Yeah.
I thought I looked cute in the red, but I was like, okay, I will not do that again because I don't want people to think that I'm being disrespectful. Shit. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't have put it on my head.
I will say one
thing. But okay.
When you meet a redhead, one thing you rarely, almost never see unless they're in Hollywood, is a redhead that dyes their hair another color.
Exactly, because my cousin that's a natural redhead, her hair
they
is
probably get assaulted
virgin.
by other redheads saying, what are you doing? That's natural. Like, people pay for that color.
Right. She doesn't add to her hair. She doesn't dye. Like, she just lets it go. And I love the fact that she embraces it.
Yeah. And like I said, a lot of us were mocked and picked on. Not necessarily bullied, but I'm sure some were. But it all has to do with the fact that gingers have a different makeup because the color, the freckles, the fair skin.
Yeah, because y'all fry like bacon in the sun. I mean, I love y'all, but
it'd be like how
I can't take y'all to the beach.
I mean, I remember growing up where in school I had a couple of albinos, like, you know, blonde, like really, really blonde hair with, you know, their eye color. They didn't have the pigmentation. And they would get bullied, picked on.
And there are some albinos that actually have red hair.
Yeah.
And I need people to understand that there are some albinos that have hair that to our eyesight as humans looks red.
Yeah.
I have met them and they have not dyed and these are individuals that I've known since birth. Like legitimately albino, but their hair is still red.
Mm-hmm. For the most part, you'll get natural redheads. Like if you look in movies like Bryce Dallas Howard, you get Jessica Chastain. You know, they're always
Let's
mixed
not
up
forget about our favorite redhead, Opie.
Yeah, Daddy Howard.
And y'all can say what you want to say. I was a child when that show was on and when I saw it. So me fanboying over him as a child, I was a child too. So don't start no rumors, okay?
Mm-hmm.
When I say that I liked Opie, it's because we were the same. Oh,
but growing up,
I'm about to age myself.
But growing up, that was the go-to slang or nickname or whatever you want to call it that people would call you if you're a redhead. You know, hey, there's Opie. You know, because back then that was like the most well-known redhead. There weren't a whole lot.
Yeah, just realize if I ever call you Opie, it is not a slur, it is a compliment. It is 100% a compliment.
And slightly exposing age.
Yeah, and I love ginger snaps for a reason. I'm just
there
gonna
you
say
go.
that. I'm gonna just put that out there.
They'll say don't get a ginger snapped.
Yeah. Although I do like to sit back and watch a ginger snap because it is like no other. If you make a ginger mad, oh, the clapback is epic. It is epic. Y'all don't ever make a redheaded person mad. Because
I will say
their
Harry.
The fiery intellect of a redheaded person, because so many people have neglected to listen to them over the years. When a redheaded person finally takes center stage, like, I done had enough of your shit, they're coming for your soul. And they're not just gonna snatch your soul. They're gonna snatch your soul, put it on the rotisserie, then throw it on the barbecue grill, then chop it up and put it in a salad and devour it without any dressing. Don't do it, y'all. I'm just telling you, don't do it, because I have sat on the sidelines and watched a redheaded person get fed up with somebody, and baby, do not be caught in those crosshairs. Don't.
Remember what you get. Remember what you get if you got a ginger who is also a Taurus. You got the Red Bull.
And then you got a ginger that's a Taurus and Latina, baby. Run for the hills. You can't even run for the hills because that reed comes down like a volcano. It comes.
So when I tell people that
lava is moving slow, but that lava is moving quicker than you think, and it's going to engulf you. Don't do it.
I mean, I have some age on me now, but when I told people that I was a ginger, a Taurus, an Irish Spaniard, wow, they were like, what?
Yeah, they were probably confused, like, huh?
Yeah, they're like, redheaded Spaniard. I said, well, okay, it's possible. It's possible. But, yeah, I mean, I just don't know why someone would even speak on things having to do with actors and all this stuff. I mean, it's...
Oh, because he's crazy and he needs attention.
Yeah, that's clearly somebody that...
Because
isn't part of the majority of gingers.
Well,
look at
Harry.
Know
that I've been banned.
Look at the other one, Harry. What did he do? He said, forget this family. I'm taking my woman and we're leaving the country.
Right. And you know that I've been banned from TikTok. So the fact that I was sent all of those videos and I was like, I'm not going to pick and choose the videos because I don't want people to think that I'm trying to be biased. So that's why I played all of the videos that were sent after I watched them. And I had sent you a few videos earlier today, right? Because I was like, yeah, you need to be prepared.
Yeah, I had no idea. I had no idea because I'm not always, tuned into that.
Well, I'm never tuned in. That's why you and I got banned out of a group because we were not tuned in to gossip.
When we don't... We're both the type that's not...
Oh, and that individual has threatened to whittle down their friends list on You
that
know, the
right?
social media
Is
platform
that right?
that we now know that they're looking at us from, because they ain't got
Okay.
no friends, because they married somebody just to say that they were married. But I digress. And I was like, you're not gonna stop following
Right.
us. You gonna keep following us, and you gonna keep commenting, because at this point they done decided we friends. Bitch, we ain't friends. I just want you to see me flourish.
But remember, you can't get to somebody the way you wanted to when those people aren't followers. They're not. We walk our own path. We don't. We're not going to stop living because of somebody else.
Yeah, but you also know that they really had a secret crush on you, and they were mad because you and I became friends.
Well, kick rocks.
Yeah, well, you know what? As I'm looking over here, as 1 year anniversary January 6th rally,
Oh, here we
quote unquote,
go.
insurrection nears, the feds warn it may be exploited. Trump rally January 6th. After president's speech, group stormed U.S. Capitol in D.C. No stuff. Like, we already knew that. But let's roll this beautiful bean footage. Here we go.
And that this is a difficult matter. I have no great desire to be here seeking consideration of this contempt referral. Mr. Meadows was a colleague for more than 7 years, but that doesn't excuse his behavior. If anything, his time as a member of the House should make him more aware of the potential consequences of defying a congressional subpoena. We've given Mr. Meadows every opportunity to cooperate with our investigation. We've been more than fair. He's brought this situation on himself, but there's no doubt in my mind that he's in contempt of Congress and has to be held accountable.
As the chairman noted, we think Mr. Meadows is improperly asserting executive and other privileges. But this contempt proceeding relates principally to Mr. Meadows' refusal to testify about the text messages and other communications he admits are not privileged. He has not claimed, and he doesn't have any privilege basis to refuse to answer our questions about these texts and about these topics.
Attack on the U.S. Capitol. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi also plans a moment of silence on the House floor and a prayer vigil on the steps of the Capitol. Let's talk about all of this now with Michael Smerconish, our CNN political commentator and host of CNN Smerconish. And look, we have some disturbing new polls that we really want to discuss with you and get your perspective on. But first, I'm just wondering what you are looking for on Thursday when you have these speeches from the president and the vice president, but also a speech or comments, remarks from former President Trump at Mar-a-Lago on Thursday.
So Brianna, first of all, Happy New Year. And
Happy New Year.
I'm sad to have to say that it looks to me like the first week of the new year will have us resorting to our respective silos, that you will see a split screen on CNN come Thursday where half the country is going to be in mourning, in reflecting on those momentous events of January 6th, and other folks will be elsewhere and listening to the former commander-in-chief as he tries to offer some level of justification as to what occurred 1 year ago on Thursday.
Yeah, celebrating what happened. And yes, Michael, happy freaking New Year to you as well.
Here we go, a year later. A lot to digest.
First of all, you cannot invoke executive privilege if you are not the sitting president. Now, do sitting presidents allow a certain level of leeway to previous presidents? Yes. When the evidence shows that something may have been misconstrued, that the law may not have been broken, but to prove it, you don't need to embarrass someone to prove it. Joe Biden is saying, no, I'm not extending that to Trump because there's nothing embarrassing. There's just things that are factual. And unfortunately, Trump keeps lying to his subordinates that are still drinking the Trump juice, going, well, we have executive privilege. Bitch, when were you the president? And executive privilege still has to be okayed by the sitting president. Like, that's the only reason why Nixon wasn't in jail by the time he died.
Yeah, that's when you avoid the committee the way they are, it's really no surprise. I never felt that's where they were going to get the most information was from them sitting with the committee, because I knew they would pull this. They are not going to sit there and be sworn in and under oath talk about what they did. So of course they're going to play the other side of things. That's known. We've dealt with this for a while. They're never going to sit there and tell you what dirt they're doing. Their whole stop the steal turned into them trying to steal. I mean, this is what they do.
And there are people to this day that say that it was the Democrats, Black Lives Matter, and Antifa, and we all know Antifa is an ideology, not an actual group. And if you're anti-Antifa, that means you're pro-fascism.
Right.
Which shows that you don't
and where are
understand
they
the
now?
definition
Are
of
they
fascism.
still hanging around? Is there anybody out there like coming after Biden?
No, they just say it to contradict Black people. But
like BLM?
Here's the thing. There are people who still say that the insurrection, it couldn't have been a Republican. It couldn't have been anybody from the right. I'm like, it was a bunch of racists. What are you talking about?
Right. Like they still will say this was a protest. Well, when you go through barricades and you literally storm, you're literally using the nation's flag to jab police, and yet somehow you're going to justify that they're the true patriots. Like they are fighting.
And where's Blue Lives Matter? Because I thought that they loved and stood next to the police. But 3 police officers lost their lives. 1 at the Capitol.
Yeah.
And 2 later on because of the mental anguish and the PTSD. And they said they don't see color. And they just backed the blue. But on live TV, international news, I watched it happen. They wanted to take the life of a Black officer, a Black Capitol Police officer.
Right.
And then when he was touted as a hero, but I thought they were back the blue. I thought they were Blue Lives Matter. I thought they were All Lives Matter. They came down to condemn him. And now they're mad because Ashley Bobbitt, her past, the news organizations are reporting it. Just like they do Black people who were gunned down by the police. They're finally giving racist white people the same treatment we melanated folks get. When they tell us, if you just would have complied, as you see countless videos of racist white people going off and assaulting police officers with 0 repercussions, they're still alive to this day.
Right.
And there was one woman like, well, George Floyd was made a martyr. No, he wasn't.
No.
We just realized that police officers cannot be judge, jury, and executioner, regardless of the amount of your melanin.
Right.
And she said, which is one of the biggest racial tropes that is circulating in the United States today, that his body traveled in a casket city to city throughout the United States. I was like, baby, he would still be on tour if that was true. We haven't had presidents that traveled city to city before being buried.
Right.
Because it doesn't matter how well you are embalmed, baby. Do you know how many cities are just in the continental United States?
Yeah.
And these are the same people.
I don't think we've been traveling through certain southern cities, that's for sure.
But these are the same people that don't realize New Mexico was in the United States. That don't realize you don't need a passport to go to Hawaii or Alaska. These are the same people that think New Mexico is Mexico, but want to shut down the borders, but are okay with Ted Cruz running across the border. You know, yo quiero Taco Bell.
Yeah, and now Cruz.
Because the grid that he pushed upon these people failed. And he was okay with putting immigrants in cages and separating them from their children. But his excuse for running to Mexico was to keep his children safe. Oh, so you believe in sanctuary as long as you're white. And Ted Cruz, you're a white presenting Latino. Make it make sense. And stop, Ted Cruz, stop running for president. You can never be elected. You can never get the ticket. You're not a natural born citizen.
But he still wants to impeach.
Just like I know I could never run for president. Am I highly qualified? Yes. But you want to know the one qualification I'm lacking? Actually, Chris, you know the qualification that I'm lacking. Where I was born.
The wonderful country of mamas. Yes.
Now, am I more than qualified to do this job? Yes. Would I knock it out the box if I decided to do it? Yes. Do I meet the age requirements? Yes. Oh, and side note, for you motherfuckers that decided to try to figure out when I got a social security number, aka when I got citizenship, let me just tell y'all, you are off by 2 years. But keep trying to figure out and trying to get information regarding my sexual assault. It really tells the type of person that you are. That because I didn't want to talk to you every day about me being violated, that you wanted to reach out to people that you believed were close enough to me to have inside information. And just so you know, y'all can try to dox me again. I'm going to tell y'all like I told y'all the first time when you doxed me. Fuck around and find out. My homeboy right here will tell you, I stay strapped up with a numerous amount of weapons, and I have several friends that have taught me how to use different weapons that you would not even expect. So fuck around and find out and come to my house.
Wait a minute, are you saying that non-Republicans can be gun owners? Because I've seen all these Christmas cards from the right with little 5-year-olds holding a rifle in front of a Christmas tree. Like, this is the new norm. This is where we are a year later. The guns are the norm. We're going to promote, we don't mind a little harassment and intimidation out there in the streets. This is the new norm. So you're going to put Christmas
they act like only Republicans and only white conservative Republicans exist, and only they have guns.
Non-Republicans
and they act like guns. Well, they also act as if guns are the only weapons that you can have to protect your home.
Well, we're also, like we had said earlier, they're also the ones that think New Mexico is not a state.
And I think at some point this month, we should do a Protect Your Home show. I think we should, because there's so many people that are stuck on guns, and I'm like, even if you came to my house and say you bust through my door with a gun, there are 6 different options that I have that will make your gun obsolete.
Well, if you look at, and we work with a lot of trainers at my jobs, armed, unarmed, etc. They will tell you for the past, well, pre-pandemic, the largest increase in self-defense, and not only weapons, but just ways to protect yourself, has been females and black females at the range, learning not just guns, learning other techniques, learning how to buy things for your home, simple enough for things like your front door and things like that. They're out there. It's not just, the stereotype.
Well, you know me better than anybody that could be watching this show.
Mm-hmm.
You know that I have a set of jiu-jitsu throwing knives, and you know that I am very well trained in them, correct?
Yeah.
So I have them, mace, a taser, quite a few firearms. My thing is, if y'all think that my firearm makes me deadly, you stupid. Because that's not what I'm most deadly at.
Well, that's like me telling
And you have to also keep something in mind. I wear glasses. I'm blind as shit. So when I get ready to go to bed, I do not wear my glasses. So I know my house pace by pace, foot by foot. If I got to get up in the middle of the night to go refill my water glass, get some more ice water or whatever, baby, these lights are not on, so you can just navigate willy-nilly through my house. What do you think is going to win? My hand-to-hand combat, my throwing knives, my knowledge of poisons and toxins, or your gun? Because your gun only works if you can see me, if you can aim at me.
A gun works if someone knows what they're doing. And I tell, when we get armed officers in, one thing I tell them, and this is outside of the training they go to, I will tell them, you are not as much of a deterrent as you think to the bad guys. Because I will tell them, the bad guys go to the range too. And they probably go more than you, the armed officer. So,
and you know where to hide when it's if you're coming onto my property, I know where to hide. You don't.
Right. But if I'm
I know where the fuse box is. You don't. So if I flip that fuse box,
right,
we playing cat and mouse, and I'm the cat.
Yeah, it'd be like that movie Don't Breathe. Yeah. But I'll tell somebody, look, don't think. I'll tell you, the people that are taken back by you carrying a weapon on your hip are the people that aren't gun owners and are people that don't really even shoot a gun, even if they have a gun. They're the ones that are going to look at and be like, "Oh, that's an armed officer. I better be good."
Those are the people who had parents that said, "Don't touch my gun."
Yes.
But never taught them how to use a gun. Right. And just told them, as long as you have a gun in the house, you're okay. And then they realize, if somebody comes in and I don't know how to use this, and if you don't know how to properly clean a gun, I don't care how many guns you have in the house, you're screwed. You are screwed.
And let me say this, which is also very important. When you go to in your communities to a restaurant, and I specifically say establishments, non-county buildings or city buildings, that have signs in their windows or doors that say gun-free zone, Do you realize, and we've talked with some owners before about this, you paint a target on your customers because they will they will leave their guns in the car if they actually, are ones that carry a gun. They will try to do the right thing and leave their guns in the vehicle. The bad guys,
those that are law abiding, because there are other people, because I've seen it online, that will buy things that will conceal a gun on their person to still take it in.
Well, yeah, I mean, either way, they're not being scanned at a doorway. They put the sign thinking that will take the law-abiding citizen, and they will read it and say, oh, oops, I do have my conceal, let me leave it in the car. The ones that actually want it, that don't care, that can read, that don't care, they are still going in that restaurant or store with a gun. Because
and I'm gonna be honest. After 3 instances where I decided to be that law-abiding citizen and see something, go back to my car going, even though I'm fully credentialed, fully licensed, let me leave this here. I had 3. And before y'all come for me and go, girl, why'd you let it get up to 3? Because of where I live in state law and the fact that I can prove it, and I keep the proof in my phone. So if something should pop off after I have to pop off, I'm protected. I stopped doing that. I stopped looking at the signs and then taking things back to my car because I'm like,
I would too.
Hold up. This is for law-abiding citizens. This isn't for the motherfuckers who literally make it their life goal to sneak stuff in. And I dated someone that was like that. The same person who was still stalking me to this day. So you motherfuckers who decided to dox me, y'all knew that he was stalking me. So, but he can fuck around and find out because I ain't going nowhere. Joke's on y'all. But I digress. I don't.
Yeah. And I'd encourage people. I mean, I'm not.
And because I have a brother who's a police officer, if they give me any pushback, generally it's in the area of his jurisdiction, and I will call him. Yes, I do turn into a full-on Karen and have him come up, and when he explains, hey, look, this is what my sister is under. She's going to be way better than your security, so you might as well let her go in. Here's her stats at the range. And then when they compare my stats to their security stats, they do not give me pushback. And this is not me giving myself a pat on the back.
No, it's defense. It's defense.
You know that there are some security firms that do the bare minimum. Yeah. And if somebody just comes close to the bullseye, they're like, oh yeah, you could be hired. Well, I haven't missed a bullseye since I was 15 years old, and I'm about to be 45.
In every state.
So if I got 30 years of hitting the bullseye,
yeah. Well, like I said, I don't. Unless you're crazy enough to try to take a weapon into an area that has sheriff or a scanner or something like that. But when it comes to establishments where they're trying to deter somebody, to turn somebody bad into somebody that's law abiding, when it's about painting a target on somebody's back, it doesn't mean you're going to go in there with your gun all showing. If it's concealed, it's concealed. Go in there, because if anything were to ever go down, you might be the hope of that place, because no one else would have one. Now, obviously, you got to do what you got to do at the time, but these are cases where we're not talking who's pro-gun, who's anti-guns, who's who knows how to do what with a weapon or what kind of weapons, because yes, there are other weapons out there other than pistols. It's knowing, not just having something, it's knowing what to do with it, how to use it. Do people actually practice with what they have? Do you buy that pretty gun take it home and, oh, I got it in this nice shade of purple that I always wanted. They put it in their closet. They got their little box of ammo. They loaded it up. And if anyone comes in, I'm just going to skid them. Okay, how often?
And I'm going to tell you guys, when you do something like that, I'm going to tell you from personal experience, you're not going to end up ending the life of an intruder. You're not going to end up defending yourself. You're going to end up with your family members mourning you. And I'm saying this from experience because I had a younger cousin because of the same thing. Because of a freak accident with the firearm. Because he wasn't told who in the family could give him firearm safety. He was just encouraged to protect his home.
Yeah.
And driving home from one of his parents' houses, his firearm discharged. And I know there are certain family members of mine that don't want to hear this, but you need to hear it. It discharged because it wasn't properly cleaned. And if you don't properly clean a weapon, and Chris, I know you know this, it can cause some misfires.
Yeah. And I would to go on what I was adding to with the buying a gun, to think that a gun is going to protect you. A gun needs an owner. A gun needs someone who knows how to use it. I would encourage anyone who doesn't really go to the range, who doesn't really keep up with their skills, don't leave your weapon armed. Don't leave it loaded. Don't even have ammo in your house, because chances are, if it's loaded,
exactly,
it could be used against you. Because, like I was saying, the other guys, the other people, know how to use their weapon a whole lot better than you, and they can easily see when you're shaking your gun, and it's all shaking in your ball of nerves, that chances are you're going to shoot the ceiling or a wall, because your aim is not good, and they can see that because their aim is good.
And you don't realize that when you're nervous, your eyesight will go to where your reserve is.
Mm-hmm.
And if an intruder sees your gun and realizes that you all can use the same ammo, they're going to follow your sight line.
Let's also keep in mind that these are some other factors that come into play. When you go to the range, what is required at the range? Eyes and ear protection. It's a standard in an indoor range.
Eyes and ear protection, ID. Oh, and also, when I was researching this topic, unlike previous generations, are y'all cognizant of the fact that there are minors that have lived through the insurrection that don't realize we had an insurrection? Because teachers are... Let me read to you all this insert from an NPR article. Headline: Don't assume students know what happened. This one might surprise you, but several educators tell NPR they plan to talk about the events of January 6th if their students know very little about what actually happened, because many don't. Quote, "We're talking about the burning of Washington, D.C. during the War of 1812, unquote, says Kristen Cruz, who teaches high school American history outside Winston-Salem, North Carolina. First of all, that's a problem, but I digress. And, quote, and I was kind of surprised at how many kids don't realize or understand what happened a year ago and how serious it was. I was like, no, this is one of those times where history is relevant, unquote. First of all, you live in Salem.
Yeah.
Salem, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. First of all, y'all wiped out the history of you killing men and women, calling them witches, because a lot of y'all don't realize that the first victims of the Salem witch trial were 3 men, one of which was a Protestant pastor, when it was Protestant pastors that were going against and claiming that people were evil. But I digress. That's a conversation for another day. Oh, Teresa says, hey, Chris.
Okay. Hello.
So, what, like, you're in, look, North Carolina. Chris, Teresa, y'all got some explaining to do. North Carolina, what's going on? Like, yeah, all of North Carolina. You know what?
No. Remember, I'm not also originally from here either.
Neither am I, but y'all keep trying to get me to visit, and I'm like, I don't know. And y'all like, no, it's okay.
You're Cincy.
And then every time I do some research, I'm like, it is not okay. And y'all keep going, it's okay. Come hang out with us. I think that y'all are trying to sacrifice me to the North Carolina gods. I don't know.
Well, with your Bengals
Well, what
jersey?
are your final thoughts first?
You're going to bring your Bengals jersey? Yes.
Don't play with me. Don't play with me.
Burrow, you got your Burrow jersey?
First of all, I will come in my Carnival outfit and bring my Bengals jersey. You know what? Don't. What are your final thoughts? Shit. You're not about to stress me out.
Okay.
We know you live in the boonies, Teresa. I live in the boonies too. Motherfuckers still be trying to equate Kentucky shit to me. Shit.
Final thoughts. Well, here we are a year later, and things haven't gotten better. So there is just so much work to be done. We'll see. I'm hopeful. Cautiously optimistic, but it's a mess, a hot mess. So we'll see. I don't have much more other than your Bengals.
My
Go ahead.
My final thoughts are I do need to keep a ginger on the roster. So I'm going to let him slide.
Aged ginger.
With his comments regarding my team, given that his favorite team don't even have a damn mascot.
Hey, February 2nd. February 2nd, we're getting a new name.
Your football team is just called football.
February 2nd, we have a name, whatever that's going to be.
It's going to be football because y'all not creative. I love y'all, but white people are not creative. They think male names.
We need a name. We know we play football. That's the sport. We know that. We got to get rid of that. We know we're a football team.
Yeah, evidently y'all didn't know that when y'all chose the name to begin with.
No, nobody did.
I mean, y'all lied about how you got the original name for decades. I'm just saying.
No vote. They didn't stop. They didn't steal.
There was a vote. I saw the video. There was a vote. I mean, I understand that you spicy white, but you got to realize that the regular white people.
No.
Yeah, I mean, if you put some Miracle Whip on they shit, they get verklempt. They don't know how to act, and I don't even like Miracle Whip. it's a little too sweet for me. I need the spice, not the sweet.
I grew up with it. My
If
mom
I'm
did.
gonna do sweet and sour, I'm doing Asian cuisine. Oh, and
Okay.
for the Indian place that's near my house, the fact that you decided to close early,
What?
y'all know this is my day to order, and y'all know what time I order. Y'all ain't right.
What?
But it's okay, because I'm going to get up bright and early tomorrow, and I'm going to schedule an order. I done figured y'all out. Don't play with it.
Oh, goodness.
But tomorrow, please do tune in, because we will be talking about, and I'm just moderating, getting your questions up on the screen and showing statistics and a few videos that go into the topic. We're going to be talking about men's mental and emotional health, and how those of us that do not identify as men, how we can be a help and a support system.
Yes.
And it's all about men. I don't know if Chris is going to join us, because I don't know if you're available tomorrow.
I may be on my own mental.
Okay. And my cousin has come through with the come through to let a troll know this ain't where you want to act a damn fool. Thank you, cousin. Also, thank you, Teresa. Oh, Teresa told you to hush it. I don't know what you said, but I get to end out the show. So shh. Teresa said it, so we nope. You had your last words. Teresa said shh. So I get to end the show. And don't forget, this Saturday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, I will be relaunching the book club. It's called Learning Through Black Literature. You do not have to have the book that we're talking about. Just have pen and paper to take notes, because yeah, we gonna get into it. The link is in my bio here, on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Twitter, so make sure that you're there. Oh yeah, football. Yeah, Teresa.
No Packers.
Your football team, that's all they do is pack. But anywho, but as always, each one reach one. We will see y'all tomorrow. I don't know if Chris is going to join us tomorrow, because I know he has a regular schedule with his family. So if he has a little bit of time to jump in with us tomorrow, he'll be there. If not,
good luck.
We'll get the recap tomorrow. So like I said, you don't even need the book for Saturday, but tomorrow, please join in. Bring your questions, especially women, so we can figure out how we can be a better safe space for men, and let men be able to grow and be vulnerable and heal, because there are things men need to heal from. So like I said, as always, what do I know? But each one teach one, each one reach one. Till tomorrow.